stage with drummers and other musicians, and
Okay.
sometimes by myself. So I don't know. I didn't see this particular foot.
Yeah. We are now recording, and I want to welcome you to Angora Poets because we are now recording on this Sunday, August 15th, in Paris, in New York, in San Francisco. And I want you listeners to know that I'm going to post a video that we failed to record a moment ago by P.J. Johnson, the poet laureate of the Yukon.
Oh,
And I think you're going to like that video, people. Yeah. And so I want to welcome you all, and we'll start. Well, we started out with Miss Johnson here, the poet laureate from Yukon, but we had technical difficulties getting it recorded, and now we're being recorded. So that's how it goes. Zoom has been giving us some headaches tonight, let alone my learned capabilities on on Zoom and on tech devices. Okay, very good. So why don't we kick off right now and do that, and ask three of you to decide when you'd like to present, in which order. Bill will go first. Anybody wish to? And Goma will go second. David, that leaves you third, and me, I'll be the cleanup hitter, batting fourth. All right, let's play ball, y'all, with our man from Paris by way of New Jersey, Bill Strangmeyer. You are on.
Thank you, Mo. This is called Show Me What You See. I remember a certain gaze and I fell twice, transcendence sought and almost touched. And it was not a look that called to draw me in, the opposite, a wonder at the inexistent distances. One standing on a stool beneath a light bulb, lost, the other on a bar stool, seeing other thoughts. They years and situations, distances apart. Two girls, as we said, and two women. I've not forgotten either night of ordinary time. Treasures of memory, lost moments that I keep in my bandana on a stick, poor belongings on my road to somewhere else where such faces, such regards may never come like gifts from other parts, which even though I did not touch, did touch. Perhaps they saw returning naiads, aurae, lampades, drawn to the streams of electricity to prove the presence of Greek past within our thin modern rituals. Perhaps another something I can't think or know. And I still hold to both those faces, those regards, for in them I saw mystery and beauty, and above all hope that my belief in other meanings weren't illusions of a fool.
I'll go with that, and I'm hoping the same.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there's a quote from John F. Kennedy: "The great enemy of truth is very often not the lie, deliberate, contrived, and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive, and unrealistic." This is called Overcome by the Numbers.
You know what I mean?
An idea. Could you close your mic, please?
Well, I'm not down anytime soon. I sit down with a lot of people.
Could you turn off your mic? We're hearing somebody talk. An idea of America died with Kennedy, but it was just an idea. Where did it go, that idea? The one we had that lit us up as if mean drunk. The drunken idea kept us awake, for we were a people who asked when. Our disembodied mind in the ocean of blocked stimuli, asking, insistent. The small thing to hold on to was that idea, like the code of a movie thug. If we can't believe that, what do we have? And what is the answer? Oh. And always the grand idea was smaller than we knew, not even nationwide. An idea is a piston. What is a man? What is a woman? Look at that idea. Look at what doesn't exist. Look at race. Look at money. Is anything real? Did the sun's chariot move before Galileo? Is mass murder dulcet and decorous? The gods have worn many bodies and faces, or not. Was all that a gift of ours? God or the goddess? Which is more exclusive? In English, the best language, of course. Yes, yes, it gave us jazz and rock, military triumph, ethnic jokes, Shakespeare, Joyce. Yes, but the French. Yes, but the Renaissance. Yes, but the Chinese. Yes, but the Greeks. All ideas. And this idea. None of this matters. Reality isn't real. Only you and I. Magari. What is a monk's job, a priest's, a pastor's, a missionary's service to an idea? The greatest country in the world, God's chosen, the dustbin of history. But omnia vincit amor. Poets don't sell insurance. Come the revolution. I am the greatest. My country, 'tis of thee. To and from each accordion's need. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus in America too. He's a bad boy for breaking her heart, but he's cute. Boys will be boys. And we ride on the tails of these slicing comments of belief through days and years, the idea of nations and the idea of the religion, the idea of power, all kill. Philos, agios, and caritas may clarify. Agape muddies. We prefer le flux artistique. A love that could save me wears a wife beater. Dante wore a guinea tea. The universe is an idea that keeps us billowing, controls us into bubbles. If ideas all worked for us, wouldn't life be boring without some stupid drama? So we work for ideas, striving hard to obey, straight unto the ends of days. And fools glory in the word of God or some drunken preacher's notional wraith. For we are but the tools of fancies twisted and braided into schemes and plots. And we forever grasp for their reins with our trembling, clawing, stroking, smiting hands. Oh well, no harm, no foul. It's just an idea after all. Give us a little smile.
Bill, would you read that sentence again? An idea is a piston, a man, a woman.
Yeah, let's see. An idea is a piston. What is a man? What is a woman? Look at that idea. Look at what doesn't exist. Look at race. Look at money. Is anything real?
Okay, I got you so far. An idea. What is an idea? An idea is a piston, a man, a woman. And then you said, what?
Look at that idea. And look at what doesn't exist. Race.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, good. What about number 3 there, Bill? 3's a charm.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Here's one. I'm a little hesitant, but there are no vaudeville poets here tonight, so I call it Elf Goes Whoosh. Subtly invoke a pastel color, make it hard to identify. A song might come to mind, nostalgic, old, soft. A thing seen on a street or a sad affair indeed. It tells us something about humanity and its condition. Keep careful count of the number of genders. Provoke no wrath, for this is sensitive, not for the hoi polloi. Keep it slightly melancholy with the matte version of a sheen. There may be death or hurt feelings or unkindness, but only to a certain type of stock character by a different certain type of stock character. This is not about people. This is about love. Point out that love is the grease on the feelie wheel. Don't talk like me, talk like one of the stock characters. Be fey on paper with business-like typed words in life. Churn out product. It'll keep you in business.
Churn out product. Yeah, bravo to all the product producing poets that just want to make people feel not too warm, not too cold, not too thoughtful, not too absent.
In the mood for a Christmas card.
Yeah, pop poetry. Hey, pop poets. All right, that was really good stuff. Thank you, Bill. And I just want to, here's something to throw some shit in the game, all right? I listened to a presentation by the renowned journalist Seymour Hersh, you know, an award-winning journalist who wrote for the Times, New York Times and the Washington Post, and later got booed out because he exposed certain truths, beginning with the 1991 Gulf War. You know, they said, no, 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 you can't be putting that stuff out in the major media. He did a presentation called Kennedy, the Dark Side. And what he revealed was, he said Kennedy had, you know, his good sides, but he revealed some stuff about JFK that he said the media in its day and today will not reveal. That one of his favorite phrases for antagonists was, quote, kill, kill, kill. And that he actually authorized a whole lot of military. So he's the one that started defoliation. He's the one that started Agent Orange. He's the one that corralled Vietnamese behind barbed wire, and for, quote, their own safety, and instructed his military people to instruct his commanders to shoot anybody dead that tries to leave confinement areas. He just laid a whole lot of stuff down at a bookstore in Washington, D.C. that was really surprising, given the suppression of that kind of information over the decades. And finally, he said that Sam Giancana, who they now Hirsch doesn't claim to know who killed Kennedy, except that he's convinced, of course, that Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy and had nothing to do with the assassination, but was simply set up to appear to be the assassin. And but what he said was, it's alleged that the mob was involved in this, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't, except that the mob wouldn't be able to execute all the things that went wrong that day, to command the Dallas police to back off, to command the Secret Service not to cover Kennedy's body once he took one shot, you know, to remove the brain without it being, you know, all these things that happened. The mob didn't have the power to command all that. So he said, I can't tell you if it was the feds or the CIA, but I can tell you the mob wouldn't have the power to command all those law enforcement personnel to violate rules of the day of the assassination. But he said, but I'll tell you one thing, Giancana said, when he heard the news that JFK was shot, he said, God damn it, it should have been Bobby. There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
the best thing about Kennedy was the public image. You know,
Yeah.
that was good for America, really.
Yeah.
Public image.
And Hirsch agrees to that. He just said behind the scenes, he was quite a militarist, and did launch quite a few things. And he said he was one of those people who began the spin his staff called plausible deniability. In other words, have a senior member sign off on defoliation and Agent Orange and mass murder of South Vietnamese civilians. Have anybody but the president recorded as signing off on these policies. And he said that, interestingly enough, that he's interviewed Secret Service agents who are now retired, who said that among them, 3 of the 4 of them that guarded him were completely annoyed by him and thought that, you know, he was just too big of an egomaniac and just, you know, too off the loop for them to admire. So he said, one day all this will come out and we'll see both sides of Kennedy. But until that time, he said, you know, the media then and now will have you worship him, absent the absurd things he did while he was in office.
I thought James Elroy got the mood of the time pretty well.
Well, I liked what Hirsch had to say because he's hard to dispute given his credibility. He also said one thing that he thought was, he said, I don't know who killed Kennedy. He said, but that people in the White House said that behind all the great public image, the Kennedy White House was full of tension and aggression and fear. And Bobby Kennedy would front that, but that John was equally behind it. So isn't that interesting how, yeah.
And poor Von Meter lost a career.
How so?
Don't you remember Vaughan Meader, Satire of the Kennedys?
Okay,
Camelot.
okay. All right. So, and you know, so there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now, Angoma, we're waiting for you to come on. You're number 2. Well,
Was it something I said?
is it my underarm deodorant? Well, screw that. If you don't want to wait around for your turn, let's go on to David. David, come on on. I'm not going to hold up this night for someone who doesn't want to wait, doesn't want to come on time.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna read a few poems. Okay. Druidic Chores Chorus. Seek ye a staff that was broken. In campus ground it lies, where ne'er a wood mouse did burrow, or dog arf at a bone. Hence gathered pagans, drunken pagans, and St. Stephen rang his bell. Much howling amongst these woods, and the natives were restless. The wicked eye hung baleful in the night sky. The muttering, murmuring troll searched on in the forest. Glad to meet ya, Mojo. Gladstone, Ram Bam, the holistic battalion of Broken Bang. Pirates aren't easy to know, and they are harder to drink with. Star guitar, moral gore, for the crabs were evil and they would not learn morals. Amongst the natives there was little rejoicing, for all was amiss and besotted, and the way was not clear. Surely some force put hindrances in our way, or are we the force? Star Wars flashed before the eyes of those in the astounded circle. Circle of light, valley bright. Oh, yes, we used to sing that, and a ring, and Mabel and me and the baby makes 3. Zen overtakes the West. Television shifts. Rocket propulsion, we're in outer space. Transcendental psychosis. What? Back down. Learn to see this interchange. Overcharged, no charge. Excellent credit rating. Skipping tune. Rambling down that years ago. That's that one.
Is that a wrap on that transcendental psychosis?
So that's the end of that one. That's as psychotic as we're going to get right there.
Okay. Number 2, David.
I hadn't thought of what to read, so I'm just kind of picking as I go. I think I read this recently, but I'll read it again. It's a short one. Lost in the future. The poem that does not come. The life that splinters into chaos and loneliness. Everything is crumbling, changing, going, ending. What am I going to do? I'm scared of loneliness. What happened to clarity? It's a wrap on that one. Three's a charm, huh, guys? A longer one, which I have read before, but I like this poem. We are the pomegranate. Now has come October, the harvest mostly in, the last radishes dug from the ground, the last green tomatoes wrapped in paper and stored in the pantry. On the south side of the house, the pomegranate tree droops beneath the weight of fruit. I watched them grow all through the solitary summer, small green bulbs to large red balls, out of the unexpected blue, cosmic transmissions on the social web, where 2020 introduced me to many dozens of brilliant supportive poets, spatially dispersed around the planet, but all caught in this same damn year. I am contacted by Paul Jolly, one of the first poets I personally knew when we were students at Maybeck High School in Bruce Henderson's poetry class. It had been 45 years since we last spoke together. Paul was returned at last to old Berkeley after decades working the halls and lobbies in Washington, D.C., and all that time away from poetry, but now returned with all his great sincerity. We exchanged video links of our readings and books via U.S. mail. We met virtually in cyber chat and bridged that great distance, at least in 2020, between Berkeley and Martinez. In pleasing synchronicity, I had just been thinking of Paul maybe a day before his contact, remembering that time he approached me at Maybeck and Trinity Hall and held forth 2 halves of a pomegranate, the myriad bright red seeds gleaming, glistening under the high ceiling lights. We are the pomegranate, Paul said, laughing, and I laughed. And for us, we are the pomegranate became our catchphrase and metaphor. I also told Paul Jolly back in 1975 that it was the title of a poem. Majid harvests the pomegranates before they bend the tree to breaking. 2 huge baskets. These will be good until February, as was 2019's harvest this year. When we are in a new year, 2021, and 2020 has been endured and the lucky have survived. 2020, still a few weeks to go, fingers crossed, all nervous, spells and incantations, breathe right, relieve stress, and whatever boosts immunity. A nervously dry November, waiting for California rains to douse the parched land, knock down the wildfires for a while. While the United States had the highest turnout election for president ever, and over 70 million citizens voted to re-elect President Donald Trump. But more than 80 million citizens voted for Joe Biden and in the necessary states. But Trump claimed fraud, and has been the case for years now, disputed the factual basis of reality, and his fans backed his claims on no other authority and absent any objective evidence. Perhaps the weirdest behavior in utterly weird 2020. Meanwhile, the pandemic sickened and killed thousands and thousands in the United States and around the world, and Doomkopfs gathered and marched from Berlin to Washington to Sturgis, South Dakota. Hell no, we will not wear masks. More reason why I'm staying in until this year is safely past. But we are the pomegranate. All of us, regardless of our vision, be it cloudy or clear, if we are striking out because we are so injured, so emotionally hurt, so fearful that we hit and hurt, or we are forgiving and loving ourselves, then we can reach out in love to all the brilliant seeds, all the love radiating from souls we can help and heal. All together now. All we need is love and the pomegranates growing again next year and every year. Let the seasons roll around. We are the pomegranate.
All right. All right, let's give it up. Pomegranate. You know, I like how you reminded me when you were saying 2020 a few times. Remember what 2020 used to mean?
Yeah,
Anybody remember? Oh,
perfect vision.
yeah. So you spoke about the absence of clarity, and then 2020. It's ironic given the fact that that's all been like vaped away under COVID and politics.
I waited for 2020 for decades. I knew that's going to be a big year, but
Okay, well, thank you, Tom and Dave. Okay, so let's move on now to our man over here in New York City, right? Yeah, if I remember correctly. And you're muted. And Goma, you're muted.
Okay.
No,
Not
you're
now.
not. Now
All
you're
right.
loud and clear.
Okay, cool.
So you're on.
All right. So this poem was written about an event that actually happened in Washington, D.C. on May the 19th, 1995. It's called um, it actually happened. You can't make this shit up. Um, it's called Greeting from the Zoo York Pig Pen. But who do you call when the pigs riot? The bully boys in blue drank too much booze and beer, moon vomit piss from the elevators, slide bare ass down the banister of escalators, have orgasms with the fire extinguishers, grab blondes by the buns trying to see if they have more fun. I mean, who do you call when the policemen bawl in the hall? What can you do when the boys in blue get pie-faced and have a circle jerk for jerks, or a pissing contest to see who comes closest to the wall in the hall of the Hyatt Hotel? Oh well, at least 30 strong in the rough, strutting their stuff in the buff. Call 911 for fun. Call the EMS to straighten out this mess. Call the Michigan militia or the Nazis. Call the fraternal order, the PBA and the Klan. They all go hand in hand from a town that has no pity. Zoo York cops from Zoo York City. Ask the mayor what he thinks. Is he too dumb to know shit stinks? Saying it was just a little noise. You know, boys will be boys. But damn, you know, they trashed the place, created a real disgrace. Now, where's the law and where's the order? Woulda, coulda, shoulda, order. What about the commissioner's instruction not to create an eruption? No booze, no booze, no booze, no booze. Don't make us look like a pack of fools. Officer, you're under arrest for lewd, drunk, disorderly conduct, for making Animal Farm look like a nursing home. 199 beer bottles standing on the wall. Well, what shall I tell my child that the boys in blue went buck wild, dropped their drawers and mooned the patrons, fired their guns and got their groove on? Well, to me, it's nothing new, and I swear this tale is true. See, in my neighborhood, the pigs go wild almost every day, shooting children in the back just because their skin is black. Many victims laying dead with a bullet in their head. Bumpers, Purnell, the Baez's too, lie in their graves to name a few. No one seems to question why. Just another nigga died. Throw your guns in the air, 199 beer bottles. Standing on the wall, hit up. That's one.
All right. Yeah. Tell us, that happened in which neighborhood?
It happened in Washington, D.C. It was a policeman's convention, but the cops from New York were out.
Wow. And
Yeah,
where'd they ride? In the hotel?
in the hotel, the Hyatt Hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Digging through
Cops will be cops.
when I found that poem. I said, "Oh!" And what made it so bad was when it happened, I didn't even have a computer, so I found the old notebook, and there it was.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a real dose of a real dose. Can we hear number 2, Angoma?
yeah, let's see. Let's see what else I can find here. My pen's got a point. It's a gloomy day in Gotham. Even the sky weeps. 2 trips around the sun short of half a century since the king of love was killed. Malcolm's cry for self-determination short-circuited by civil rights still absent. The debt of reparations still not paid. Peckerwood's disillusioned, Confederate battle rags taped to their consciousness, brains on lockdown, illiterate believers in the holy Babel, wishing for the good old days when strange fruit hung from poplar trees, ghost of Hitler reincarnate, Klansmen dressed in suits of blue, water hoses replaced by tear gas, tanks and FEMA camps on standby for the coming Armageddon. Gentrification is ethnic cleansing, land of the free, home of the brave. Doomsday looms on the horizon as we pray this is a nightmare. I'm afraid my tongue was handcuffed, struggling to sound the alarm. Hoping you read this poem of liberation before the Fifth Amendment is taken hostage and thinking is outlawed. I'm just glad my pen's got a point.
So are we. All right. All right.
Let's see now.
3 is a charm, Angoma.
Uh,
I'm sure your pen's got another point to make. 3 is a charm.
Okay, not that one. Ta-da-dee-oh. I can't remember what I read on here before. That's the problem.
That's okay because like like good and great songs, good and great poems deserve to be read again.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't read this one. Oh, where is it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not there. That's not where it was supposed to be. Hold on a minute. The scream of silence. There's a subtle scream of silence permeating the air from the pulpit of those that wave the stars and bars and scowl behind the holy Babel that was never read, threatening to defy the Constitution, sending the military to fight those who come in peace to mourn the death of civility, hoping to bury Jim Crow, planting flowers of peace and justice on the grave. But they are low-flying choppers hovering over the White House, sweating strange conversations in the bunker in the basement, and a new wall being built in Chocolate City, not Mexico, as the offsprings of the rainbow shine their light into the darkness. Soldiers and policemen take a knee, but like my brothers and sisters in Missouri, show me, because the slave catchers evolved to killer cops. We defy curfews and pandemics with our hands in the air. Children of the rainbow surround the planet like a group hug. But don't forget, we've had these kumbaya moments before. Will it be different this time?
Good point. Will it be different this time? And you sure can't blame the Legion of Progressive Poets for trying to edge us on to a more saner world. What was that line? What was that line you said it got me? You said it was a rhyming line about shooting black children in the back.
Was it in that particular poem?
No, it was in, I believe it was in your first poem
Oh,
from
okay.
the Zoo York.
Gotta go back and get that. I don't know. Hold on. What was the first poem? The first poem was "Greetings from the Zoo York Pig Pen."
Yeah. And toward the end of it,
Yeah.
you did a rhyme that ended up shooting black children in the back.
Um, and
Could
my
have been
niggas go wild almost every day, shooting children in the back just because their skin is black. Many victims laying dead with a bullet in their head. Bumper, Spinell, Abayas is too, lie in their graves to name a few. No one seems to question why. Just another nigga died. Throw your guns in the air. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was powerful. And you know, it could have been when I first heard it. It sounded something reminiscent of Soweto. You know, the mass murders of young people protesting in Soweto.
Yeah.
Only it's not from Soweto.
No.
You know, it's from the United States.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ngoma, for
Thank
putting
you.
that forward for us. And at this point, it's my turn to read. And
Stop my baby. All right.
uh, so let's see what I got here.
All right, listen.
Here we go. We have the first one. It's called Dum Dum. It goes, wave. No, we need to mute this thing. Ngoma, you need to mute. I guess he ain't listening to this thing. Oh well. Oh God. Yeah, except right. Except I don't know where that command is. I don't know where a lot of things are. That's why I'm here. I'm lucky to be here. It's simply called Dum Dum. Wave, water, wind, sand. Desert, once a sea. Fire, flame, ash, dust. Fallen leaf, once a flower. Day, night, dark, light, blind, sight, smart, dumb, 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 ever after. Uh, yeah, thank you. Now, I wish I knew where that mute button was here. Okay. Now, here's the next one. It's called Flight. Look, look into me, into my eyes. See, designs, castles, built. The roof caves in, battles fought, the wounds. How I always laugh and cry at the wrong times. Kisses dripping, blood hot. Voyous, come in. Know for yourself. Mysteries, animal satiation, chaos theory, but a hint of what's to come. You may hold my hand as we flee the tyranny of the straight line. Fire never burns itself, water does not drown, wind never lost in flight, night never blind in the darkness. Look, look at you, licking your lips, stretching your limbs, smelling the danger, letting it go. The blood in your veins, cocktail of adrenaline, hormones, and laughter. Look, there you are. See yourself, you, at play on the stage of your life, your flight. I urge you, take flight. So now I'm going to finish with this one. Let's see how this works with police sirens. And it's called a numbers game. And I wrote this for my 50th birthday. a decade ago. One curious look, two eyes in orbit, three crooked teeth, four sutured scars, five-fold brow, six sins repeated, 7 leagues deep, 8 days late, 9 times dead, 1,000 laughs, 11 loves gone, 12 o'clock struck, 13 state of mind, 14 light years, 15 unpaid, 16 miles uphill, 17 suns rise, 18 kilos of coffee, 19 stars over Paris, 20 times overdue, 21 gray hairs, 22 stained glass windows, 23 broken promises, 24 lies, 25 deities, 26 million starving, 27 bending rolls, 28 penny whistles, 29 fallen idols 30 years ago, 31 primordial screams, 32-degree freeze, 33 tears, 34 mountains to climb, 35 follies, 36 ounces of wet brain, 37,000 cigarettes, 38 cracks in my tongue, 39 women, 40 voice gospel choir, 41 depression Sundays, 42 free protons, 42 full moons, 44 closed doors, 45 angles, 46 rehearsals, 47 lost memories, 48 tons of shit, 49 versions corrupted, 50 birthdays smeared on mirror. Mwah. And that's that.
That's cool, Mo. I like that one. Yeah,
Well, thank you.
great.
Okay.
I just kept wondering what's going to be next.
Well, yeah. Well, I wrote it for my 50th birthday, and I kind of think it resonates with the ongoing conditions of life we face,
Indeed.
before and after any given number. So, okay, um, let's give ourselves a brief break and come back and enter two poems, if we will. Can we do that?
See if we can get more disorganized.
More organized chaos. Organized chaos. All right. Okay, that'll be good. All right. So, David, what did you stood out in that poem that one about
The one you just read.
50?
The,
Yeah.
I like the I mean the structure. Obviously, you had a structure 1 to 50, and just it was the element of surprise. I guess was the main thing, and then the delight with you know each unfolding surprise as we go from 1 to 50.
Okay. Cool.
And especially knowing
Yeah.
it's your poem, Bo, so it's like, well, what's he gonna say next?
Yeah.
It's like
And there is more to say,
I'm sure there
fortunately and
is.
unfortunately. You
But yeah, no, that was I liked it, and the rhythm, it's like rhythm's
Yeah.
important.
Well, I wish I could get a music video to this poem.
That would be
You
good.
know,
Yeah. Or
39 penny whistles, 40
perf-
voice gospel choir.
perform it with
Things that,
your jazz friends at the, that'd be
something like that.
that'd be
Well, they
amazing.
just alerted me that they're working now on sending out the album where they recorded 9 of my jazz poems. So we'll
Cool.
see how that goes. See how that goes.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you have ahead for you, David?
I have a bunch of stuff. Everything's like been really happening a lot. Muriel, who was here a few weeks ago,
Yeah, Muriel, yeah.
who I met here, and she messaged me, and she wanted to interview me for her magazine, and so we
Oh,
did that about a week ago. It was like just a private Zoom, very interesting
oh, nice.
conversation for like an hour. So she's going to transcribe all that. We may do some other things, and
Oh,
that's
good.
cool. And so what else is up?
That's a nice.
Yeah. Then I got invited to do a workshop with John McMullen, who does a workshop, and he does has a poet come in to read a bunch of poems, and then other people do like interspersed poems. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
So that's coming up.
that's really good. How
Yeah.
about you, Bill? What do you have in mind? Anything on your mind coming up?
Trying to get Windows 10 on my computer. That's filling
What
my head up with complaint these
What are you
days.
Yeah.
running now? Are you still running with 7?
Seven.
Wow.
Timed upgrade, Bill.
Yeah, time to upgrade, Bill.
Yeah, but it won't let me.
Oh, it says they want you to buy a new one.
It doesn't tell me why.
I know,
Uh, it told me one thing. I had to get rid of Windows security something.
uh,
So, and then there was a problem, is all it said.
so you went to like the Windows site to try and download 10,
Yeah.
and then you came into
And then when Windows 10 came out, they had to refund a whole lot of people's money because it didn't work. Windows
yeah.
10 is what, about 5 years old now?
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess, yeah.
Windows 11 is coming out in September,
Oh,
and
God.
if you buy 10, you get 11. You can switch over to 11 free.
Yeah, if you buy 10. Yeah,
I haven't bought any Windows ever. When I bought my first big computer, it had Windows in it, and then I got Windows from work, and that's one of the problems. I got Windows from work, and something went wrong, and uh, around the corner from me, there's a place where they have people come in and do different things, and there was uh, computer fix up, and he did something that apparently was illegal, but it worked. I don't know. It's something. He did something, and it made the whole program strange.
okay. All right. Well, there are certain people that can essentially install virtually anything you want for free, and it's illegal. But when I think of Microsoft and how much money Bill Gates and Microsoft has gouged from people and been successfully sued in the European court for monopolizing server platforms, then I felt no anguish about it.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to get caught. And I don't know if they still give out those huge fines for pirating music.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to get caught doing anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know the risk involved. I just remember it worked for me some years ago when somebody said, "You want Windows 8?" I went, "I can't get it." They said, "Here it is, ding," and all of a sudden I had Windows 8, like I don't know, several years ago now. Yeah. So okay. So one thing's going on here. I guess you guys may know about it. Is for the fifth week in a row, hundreds of thousands of people have been taken to Paris streets to
Yeah.
protest the government imposition of a health pass, which here is called a pass sanitaire. And I listened to one of their main speakers who said, "We are not taking a position on pro-vax or anti-vax. We are simply opposing the imposition of government controls and tracking on our lives. So if you wish to be pro-vax, fine with us. If you wish to be anti-vax, fine with us. Our issue is we don't want the government uh, uh, demanding and commanding this pass sanitaire, because once they employ it, this tracking system, they never dissolve it once the crisis is over.
Right.
And
Well, so it's basically being done here through private companies mandating it. So, for example, last night I went to Vesuvio for the first time since before all this started, and they're actually one of the they're the Janet who owns Vesuvio leads the San Francisco Bar Owners Association, and they're ones who are the head of this, and had to show your proof of vaccination to go
mhm,
inside to go inside the bar. Um,
mhm,
and a lot of places, restaurants and stuff, are starting to require that. John's Grill, the old grill that's in the Maltese Falcon, they were the first restaurant that they mandated you had to show your proof,
uh-huh.
even if you go outside to dine now. But they just basically show the doorman, your card or a picture of your card or whatever. So I guess that's different than what they're doing in France. I don't know.
Well, personally, I don't have a problem with private business or private homes,
Yeah,
as many apartment buildings are now posting mask is obligatory
yeah,
when you enter, because that's a decision by a business owner,
right,
a apartment tenants association, etc. And therefore one has choices. You know,
right.
I will bring proof in there, or I won't go there. So one leaves a choice to both the proprietor and the customer.
But
Okay,
the
and
proof is coming from some kind of official body. I mean, it's an official medical document or ID or whatever. And if you're just showing them, it's no different than showing your ID or whatever. I don't see it as like an instrument for tracking or anything like that. Having
well, you
to
see
display your proof
the
that you've
pass
been.
sanitaire, in fact, does have a code on it, and it is read by
And
the government.
they scan every.
Yeah,
It's like
and
a card that you have to scan. Okay,
exactly, and you have a
that's
series
different.
of numbers that is scanned every time you present it.
So
And so I can agree with this movement, since it's not going pro or anti-vax. They're leaving
yeah,
that confusion out of it. Because I remember in the States when George Bush and company initiated the Patriots Act, he said, these limits of surveillance and intrusion and wiretapping and following are necessary to protect you from terrorism.
yeah, right.
And and they assured us, when the threat is over, of course, we will relax
Of
these
course.
restrictions. And when the threat was declared over, the Patriot Act was strengthened. And then when Barack Obama came into office, it was enlarged even more.
Yes,
So I have to agree with their point that once they get a measure of control and monitoring it, they don't give it up when the crisis is over.
they sure don't.
Yeah.
And that's why they are so hell bent on getting Julian Assange and Edward
Yeah,
Snowden because those are the guys
yeah,
who showed.
right.
Or like the thing with Trump and the Russians in 2016. Yes, but the part that they didn't want to talk about was what was revealed in all those Democrat Party emails that were leaked by WikiLeaks, which was
Yeah,
just how absolutely arrogant, and that's the reason that Hillary Clinton lost because they just their hubris knew no bounds.
yeah.
It's like,
The fact that she basically promoted herself as, I'm
yeah,
guaranteed to be president.
yeah, and it
It's
was
only a matter of formality that we vote.
and Michael Moore, the filmmaker, he predicted Trump would win, and he said it's because it's the one way that middle America can say "fuck you" to the establishment.
Yeah,
He sure did.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. And was it George Bernard Shaw, the Englishman, said,
Irish.
really, is he
Yes, he was
Irish?
an Irishman. He was indeed.
Oh, that's even better in my, okay, good. I'll correct myself
And a
on that.
vegetarian too.
Okay. He said, if voting really meant something, it would be outlawed.
That's right. It'd be illegal.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And just
I'm beginning to feel that way more and more
call
about,
up that George Carlin clip, which is all over the internet about, voting.
yeah,
You're a citizen.
it's an exclusive club and you're not in it.
You're not in the big club. You and I and you.
The only club you may join is that banging against your head by a
That's
police
right. That
officer
same
for
club.
exercising your right of public assembly. But
That's right. It's your free speech minute.
I get caught up.
You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, I get caught up with the punditry behind who to elect, but the more that is exposed about way both parties, uh, uh, basically corrupt the electoral process.
Yeah.
One beginning with the need for billions of dollars for a presidential candidate to get elected
Right.
must accrue billions,
Right.
and therefore accrue influences from industries that are harming the environment and the Constitution that they stay beholden to after they're elected.
And all this
Like,
money is going into these private entities,
yeah,
which are licensed to, put out their material via the public supposed airwaves, right?
yeah. I mean,
So,
like Biden came on early in his office saying, and we're going to fight pollution, and we're gonna save this country. And last week he had one of his ambassadors speak to OPEC, the oil producing collective, urging them to increase oil production.
well,
And
the,
so
that's the thing. They put us in that position where, I mean, this last election, there was nothing to do. We had to get Trump out of there because he was off the rails. He was openly talking about, that he wanted to be dictator for life, and he would have done it if he could, So,
he would have done it if he could.
and if
And
he
in
couldn't, so
retrospect,
that shows some strength, I guess.
listening to senior military officers after the election,
Yeah,
they said in personal interviews they would have never allowed Trump to order the military to do what he had forecasted he would do.
yeah,
So no, we'd have never allowed that. He'd have called the military to occupy the country and put it under Trump's version of martial law. And these senior military people who were interviewed said, oh no, we wouldn't have done that.
Well,
So
they had a plan for serial resignations in place
yeah.
so that he could never get the top guy to do anything because the top guy would wait until he was asked and then resign.
Right.
uh,
And then the second guy, same thing, all the way down the line.
yeah.
Well, that's
And then
perhaps where Trump was most deluded, because he just expected that, these people are like the judges that he appointed, that they would just line up and be loyal to him. But it turns out they were more loyal to the institutions, as flawed as the institutions, are.
Yeah, even that Judge Kavanaugh voted against
Yeah.
some of Trump's positions before while Trump was still in office.
And for the military, I mean, Trump's a draft dodger, and he's
Right.
he'd spend a very difficult half a day in the Marine Corps.
And so was Bush. Bush joined, what was it, the National Guard? Then he
Texas
got kicked
Air
out of the
Guard.
and then he got kicked out of that, right?
Yeah.
For some drunken behavior or something.
But his daddy was a real warrior, Bush the elder.
Yeah. And his granddaddy supported the Nazi Party. You know that.
His granddaddy was a big drunk.
Yeah, and also a supporter of the Nazi movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just like all the work that Bernie Sanders did, and recently Nina Turner lost her election bid for a congressional seat in Ohio because in the last, what was it? They said 30 days, billions were poured into her opponent's campaign, and they actually allowed lies, no surprise, to be forwarded in the in her opponent's campaign ads. They said they bought that election to stop Nina Turner, and Hillary and Bill sabotaged Bernie, and then
But
Barack Obama sabotaged Bernie in the last election.
that's true. But all that said, Bernie still remains, and this is why we're not more screwed over than we are. I mean, he's still a very powerful political force in the country,
Yeah,
and in
that's
the
why we
Senate.
don't have
Yeah.
the basic minimum wage or health care for all, because Bernie actually isn't so powerful.
Well, he is though. I mean, he's. I mean, it's matters of degree. I mean, without him,
Yeah, well, where's health care for all when the majority of Democrats and a large number of Republicans wanted it? So where is that power, I would ask.
well, I think it's a process that's still in play. So I have hopes. And
Well,
plus,
I hope you.
California, we've got a much more robust public health care system already in place, and California tends to sort of lead the way. Of course, now they're trying to sabotage and steal power in California through the recall election that's coming up.
Mhm.
And
Well, with an estimated, according to reports, 40 million people underinsured. How much longer do we wait, David? They've been talking
yesterday,
about
Mo, yesterday,
universal health care since Hillary brought it up in
I know.
1990.
No, I know. It's totally ridiculous. I totally
So
agree.
be patient. That's what they say about critical issues. That's what they said to Martin Luther King too. You're going too fast. He said, well, it's only been 200 years. Yeah, but you're pushing too fast. So,
And that's
I
what
think,
that's what Al Gore said about legalization of marijuana.
what do you
Trust
say?
us. He said, "Trust us. We'll do it."
Well, I don't trust anyone.
Trust us.
Yeah, yeah. So,
He was running for vice president. Huh?
yeah. So, frankly, I don't really have any faith in the electoral system because since, wow, how far back? Anyway, a good 15 years since progressives openly define themselves as progressive and democratic socialists, the Democratic Party has been effective in eliminating most of their chances for election. And Nina Turner was 30 points ahead of her lackluster opponent in Ohio and lost the election by voter surveys in the last 2 weeks. Why? Because as they document now, a couple $1 billion was spent in Ohio day and night delegitimizing Nina. They had nothing to say about her opponent. Simply, he's a good guy. He's been in office. He knows the job, which is basically what they said about Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden when it came to the initial squad work and Bernie. So, I don't think they're going to give us gay rights. They gave us gay rights when they realized gay people would be important consumers. They give us equal gender opportunities when they realize that women will uphold the same corporate positions they allow in as men do. So it's very smart, very clever, and it works. But when you talk about the actual quality of life, the actual spendable income of the average American, it continues to decrease since 1972. But I have gay rights, I have women's rights, I have what is it? Equal opportunity toilets. Okay, but when I get sick, I don't really have adequate health care. And when Wall Street ripped off all those pension fans, George Bush let it slide, and so did Barack Obama. And that represented our two-party system. So, Grandpa, you've got gay rights. Yeah, but they stole my pension. Grandpa, you've got, you know, men, women used to the same toilet. Right. But I don't have adequate health care. Grandpa, aren't you listening, Grandpa? So that's how
No,
I
no
feel.
arguments. Well, they're two
The
wings of the
ironic
same
thing,
bird, right?
the ironic thing is that um, the left, let's see, the hard left and the hard right have agreed on many issues since George Bush, Barack Obama, uh, um, Donald Trump, and now Joe Biden. It's really interesting that the hard right and the hard left are talking about big brother control of the economy and the political machine, whereas in the middle, anybody that um, that doesn't stay in the middle is considered a conspirator and un-American. So they're very clever in what they're doing, and they are winning. You might agree. Um, they are winning, you
Yeah.
know. So, but one more reason to be glad we're creative thinkers and creative writers because we get to speak out on our various opinions, whether it be moral or spiritual or political. And a lot of people just, what's next on Netflix? And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like racism. They always fall for the easy answer. You know, uh, black people are taking our jobs. Well, let's lynch them. Uh, Immigrants are taking our jobs. Well, let's put them in jail. Let's take their children away.
Yeah.
It's, okay. Things are not going good. Yeah, but there's The Walking Dead. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. And the Emmys, the Obies, the Oscars are coming up. Come on, man. You want to know who cheated on who? I don't care that Bill Clinton got his dick sucked. What I cared was that he did three strikes you're out in criminal justice and arrested many young people, particularly black, for long stretches of time for small amounts of marijuana. That he got his dick sucked, every politician seen, the males, many of them end up that way. I don't care about that.
what bothers me is that Monica Lewinsky didn't have enough money to take her blouse or her jacket to the dry cleaners. That's
What,
unfair.
what bothers me, they were ready to impeach him for lying about oral sex and ignoring the fact that, you know, he decreased public assistance for single mothers, that he did the three strikes you're out bill and adopted the Republican sentiment on tough on crime. That's what bothered me. Not that the public got so worried about whether he benefited from oral sex in the White House,
Uh,
you know. So we get our priority, more people are concerned on, like Andrew Cuomo. He resigned because of the sexual allegations. And I certainly wouldn't disagree about that. But you know what they ignored? When COVID broke out in New York, he immediately signed a bill releasing nursing homes for any insurance liability for people cooped together during COVID when it was infecting nursing homes and taking people down. Yeah, yeah. He passed a non-liability bill for nursing homes a week after he realized that large numbers of people were dying because they were confined to nursing homes as the infection spread through nursing homes, you know?
yeah.
So there we go. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard about that from a MMA commentator. I mean, people know all this shit, but
Mm,
you can't reach up to the level where it counts. You just can't reach up there.
right, right. You just can't. You're supposed to you're supposed to fight over Coke or Pepsi, and so there you go. Why don't we issue two poems? Are we ready for that?
Sure.
Okay, Bill, would you like to go first again?
Okay.
Okay, Billy, you're on.
Okay. Okay. This is called Creation Amendment, a conversation. So God, I said, I've got a question. Okay, kid, but call me Eros. What you need? Well, Eros, how about that man and woman thing? What's the deal? Well, once there were no men. The world was only women. And you know, I made them all immortal. They were meant to never die. At the time, they called me Hebrew, or in the Greek way, just Iri. But those damned humans, don't you know? I fed them from my cup and gave them food more fit for gods, my nectar and ambrosia, tantalizing goodness for the body, mind, and soul. But soon they ate of the fruit of cunning, and they became carnivorous from jealousy of lions, and likewise learned to kill. They then divided up the job of murder and invented work, and so were not immortal anymore. Because they were to be immortal, I had made them sexless females. Well, made them females. Hadn't any sense back then. They were just humans, that was all. And they began to die of sin, original sin, poor diet, work, both sides of slavery, and the anger that's so useful when you mean to kill. So what to do so they could reproduce instead, because I had to leave. I had a date. You wouldn't understand, mysterious as I am. I looked at the parameters I laid upon the planet Earth: binary fission, hermaphroditism, semipolarity, and heteropolarity, grafting, and the rest, and realized I made them much too clumsy for any of those things. So all that I had left was mammalian gender binary sex, although I do have a fondness for digressions from the rule. So I invented men and classed the humans mammals, from whom they did in fact evolve. So there. I am the true creator. And then to underline my genius, I changed myself to Eros, or in Northern Europe, Loki, and in the Kalahari Mantis, I'm a joker. And then enthusiastic added on the primary and the secondary attributes and bade the race entire screw and also reproduce. And to bring a little humor to their lives, I added tricks within the atmosphere, hurdles to their plans in case they thought to make some other toxic changes in the world. But of course they did. And once again, you humans, always overdoing things and turning what is wonderful into an excess or a sin. I bade you reproduce, not overrun the planet with these hordes of sorry victims of ideas. And two, you love to look a gift horse in the mouth, you band of fools. What some call love is not some primal sin. The sin is hierarchy, and the eating sows to die. And also work and salaries, not sharing, and drudgery and hate. Religious hatred takes my abstract name in vain. Religion's such a monetary farce. I made of you immortals, and you ruin everything I gave, especially what I made to make up for your rush to sickly death, sex and male and female. So get right quick and stop your bullshit, oh, you crown of thorns upon creation. Don't look at me, I said. I'm not the one to blame. I'm just a man, not God. Don't give me that weak shit with your capital G. Just do your part and calm the game. Don't join a mafia. Try to be nice and find an easy job that does some good if you really have to live in the sick industrial world. And when you have a chance, think of my twin Cupid's little arrows, kid, although you'll probably take their sting for possessiveness and desire to enslave instead of selfless love, his gift. And then he dwindled off.
Okay, we get the message. Straight ahead. Yeah, you remind me of what Bill Hicks said many years ago, the great comic. He said, if you brought Jesus back, how do you think he would react if he was watching, if he saw everybody wearing replicas of himself hung up on a cross? Do you think Jesus would have appreciated it? And Hicks said something like, Jesus Christ, people, you can do a better job of representing me than that. Number two, Bill.
Okay, let's see. What do I want to read? Okay, something mean and ungrateful. This is called the hearty yeomanry. The lack of a cause, the lack of a tragedy, the lack of hard times are the ghosts that haunt them, goading action, goading spite. They have not suffered like the old, haven't felt the lash of fate, the hard left hook that life can deal, except in inane virtuality, what they've seen or managed to read, and they resent the lack. They long to see themselves as if in a film or a cop show, a bad play. Nostalgia for fictional trials makes them jealous of those who were there. Jealous of survivors, admiring of assassins and of thieves, they whine and form the hired thugs of invasions of those despised but secretly admired. All this because they know that they themselves are clowns and weak. Survivors' guilt, warped and bent into a knife wound in their paltry souls, herds them into mock heroic crime without the guile of more honest purpose. The love of country, love of God, in fact, are ways to cover hate and shame. They know they're wrong, and malice is their bomb. The question we must ask them is, do you want to get into heaven?
Okay. And you want to get into heaven. Okay. Here's something that came up this week from a comedian. I take a lot of relief and inspiration from those comics who dare to say things beyond nicey nice. This guy said, in Islam, and he was a former Muslim. He said, in Islam, if you do the right thing, especially as a martyr, and you blow people up, you go to paradise and receive 72 Vestal virgins. He said, can you imagine dealing with 72 Vestal virgins? Stop. It hurts. Leave me alone. Come back. You're going to get in trouble. I'm going to get pregnant. Try that with 72 different types.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And I always add, what if you're a martyr and you get up there with 72 Vestal virgins and as it turns out, actually, I'm gay.
Yeah, a few years ago, there was a thing about a translation of the Quran. But maybe it's not virgins, maybe it's white grapes that they get.
72.
Yeah, it was in the news.
Well, some guys were probably really disappointed then.
Well, leave it to religionists to change the language and the context when they're under scrutiny.
Yeah.
Islam, like the other people who practice fundamentalism. No, but what we really meant, and it can be reinterpreted, and we blowing up all those people. Yeah,
Blessed are the
shooting
cheesemakers.
shooting those people in Las Vegas or killing those people at the World Trade. That's not really us.
Yeah, some of those.
It's those other people. Okay, all right.
Been listening to a lot of Hitchens lately.
Yeah, Hitch. He was all right. Hitch was all right. I have essentially a lot of influencers in my life, and I just wrote somebody today in North Carolina. He said, "Who influenced you?" And I went, Lenny Bruce, Noam Chomsky, Chris Hitchens, Gore Vidal, and Frank Zappa.
That's a good crew.
That was a good crew, right? You can hang with them. You can hang with them.
No doubt.
And in the end, Zappa put it the most succinctly. He said in 15 words what my man Noam Chomsky said in 15,000 words.
Yeah.
So either way you want to go.
What, Susie Cream Cheese? This is the voice of your conscience?
America drinks and goes home. I'm the slime oozing out of your TV set.
No doubt.
Now, who's that we hear in the background? Who's having company? Come on board.
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can pipe them down a little bit. Hold on.
No, you don't have to do that.
No, I just gotta. It's obvious.
Pipe down.
Okay.
We're talking about Vestal virgins.
Yeah, right.
Put down in there. We're talking about Frank Zappa. Get serious.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
the,
All
that's
right, David.
we
all the
don't
God.
we don't perform from soundproof booths, you know.
Yeah, right, right.
It's,
Okay,
uh,
David, can you perform?
yeah. I
Okay.
did like the sirens when you were reading earlier. Those New York City
Yeah,
sirens we could hear coming in from
yeah,
Angora Street.
yeah. I got to find out how to mute people because that's happened before. A couple people just don't get it. They get up and leave the mic and leave leave
Yeah,
their audio on. I think it's age.
yeah. None
I
of
think
us are
so.
getting any younger. That's for sure.
Hey, and life is short, and so am I. All right, David, you're up.
But yeah, we can still read, right? So I'll read something from a Rorschach page, and this is actually adapted from a letter I received from my friend Alan K. Lipton. I call this Federal Bureau of Individuality. Dear Dr. Troll, suspected author of that pre-Boomtown Pleasant Hill postcard a while back. Just what the hell was J.J. Howard in training for? 14 years is a long time, and breaking training like that must have gotten the poor boy kicked off the polo team by the head centaur. No doubt resulting in a heavy dose of culture shock for everyone involved. Fortunately, at the wild bash in question, I was to oversee his activities, since he was in fact assigned to my quarters. He only asked me to turn off the music once, and that was merely because we were both trying to sleep. I'd almost been assigned a room with Kara K. Bank, although that would have been rather awkward, wouldn't it? Natalie Dunn admitted in chickening out on what could have been a most fascinating social experiment. But of all the fine young men present, Miss Bank wound up having the most visible hot flashes around Mr. Howard. And they were last seen after lunch in Monterey with the benevolent dowager Darcy Albertson. I mean, we were all at lunch together, and those two drove off into the afternoon, no doubt to break young JJ's 14-year training. However, I can attest to the fact that the young guy is possessed of infinite social grace, a fact I noticed the preceding night around a fire in the dunes. Zipping along at a stable elevation under a full moon, I was able to avoid the alcohol that would have hindered and fogged my elevated perceptions had I partaken with everyone else. I was probably viewed as soft-spoken elder statesman by the ensemble. Although D. Prophet and Annette W.G. were easily vying for the funniest, and Robin Warnowski was the one most deserving of a gag, Carl Bergs should have promised Donna Massey the moon just to take her over the next dune for a while, which is what she so desperately wanted anyway. And Cara Bank was being so virginally sincere as she and I confessed our mutual admiration. Through all of this, J.J. Howard sat like a young centaur, laughing, joking, and reciting reassurance, sending out the calm vibes of someone who had been trained by Wilsons for the last 14 years. He was just about as calm as I was, although probably a hell of a lot more sincere, being trained by Wilsons, and so less jaded and cynical, being younger and so less disillusioned. Hell of a guy, that young Mr. Howard. Hell of a guy. So that's just a little piece of silliness. I hope you liked it.
Well, who can dispute Mr. Howard? All right.
He was trained by Wilsons for 14 years.
Okay.
So one more poem.
Sure.
Number 2, Sticks Talking in Code. I've worn my head in my hands through countless ages of unheeded wisdom. Things learned things forgotten, things learned again. There is no doubt about it. The stumbles and briars are many and not necessarily spaced evenly. Sticks, sticks all along the roads, all these sticks on the roadside. How could I carry such a burden? Animals restless in the undergrowth, the imagined shapes of dream take form. UFO cows flying through the air. Sitting innocently here, sipping coffee, while the member of a secretive club with a gold-plated membership card and a worried look in his eyes attempts to converse in code, responding to a prearranged signal. Thanks.
Is that prearranged signal? A rap?
Signal. Yes, that's your cue, Mo, to come
Is
back.
that my cue?
Yep.
Okay, well, thanks. Well, I'll be damned. Okay, thank you, David. Thank you very much. Okay, for me, I'm good. Instead of reading two poems, I'm going to read a very short story that was published here in Paris. The Bill might know Claire Kincannon, when she was here. It was an edition called Men Between the Sheets. And she wanted to like sort of make the sexual suggestion as well as between the sheets of her anthology.
No,
Sheets.
it was called Sheets for Men. I'm in it too.
Okay, sheets for men. All right. So it recirculates from time to time, and I get a good laugh reading it. And I was married when I got to Paris, and here's how it went. Now I'm happily divorced, and here's how it went. It's called Dinner at the In-Laws. The in-laws, dinner, an orgy of culinary delights, a half dozen dishes we all circle around, 3 different breads, 30 minutes of small talk. Theirs as I eat like a kid in a candy store. I thank the hostess, sister-in-law Mimi, for the feast. They all laugh. Irene tells me, we've only finished the appetizers, Mo. I should slow down on the bread, she adds. It's unsettling for the kinfolk to watch a person eat like a peasant. Mating the dip to that kind of bread with the wrong knife, the French equivalent of 3 strikes, you're out. Do you know how to eat in a certain correct manner? Ooh la la, belts out Mimi. And she's right. But who cares, think I? Mimi picks up the vibe. She flashes back a glare. You must learn to be French, she snaps. And all the while, the adults light up cigarettes to the interlude between courses, blowing smoke in the children's faces. I want to learn to be French. My hunched shoulders ask, is this okay to smoke like this? And Mimi bellows, the Americans worry about every little thing. And with the wave of her cigaretted hand, she adds, a culture of confusion, n'est-ce pas? This remark prompts father-in-law to rush from another room for a quick listen to an all-news radio station. Everyone else chimes in on the obvious differences between French and American cultures. From what I can gather, differences spoke about include wine quality, farm fresh food, and cigarette satisfaction. The scenery turns merry, downright jovial, till father-in-law rushes back to the table. The Americans have bombed Baghdad. The Iraqis claim a hospital has been destroyed. It is said that many civilians are dead. Ooh la la. Silence. All eyes on me. Mine staring straight ahead to and through a crystal wine glass. Irene frowns, shifting her head from side to side. Proverbial deadly hush. After an eternal number of seconds, brother-in-law quips, All is fair in the love and the care. Pardon in the war. Bravo, Patrick, perks Mimi. Your English is spoken like a statesman. Someone huffs. C'est la vie, and I'll return, merry and jovial. Sister-in-law Elaine is hand dancing through a conversation with mother-in-law 2 seats to her right, when young son Xavier, rocking in the chair between them, collides with Elaine's cigarette. He takes a hot ash to the cheek and yells, "Ooh la la!" and yells, and she quickly searches for the burning ash that might have fallen down the boy's shirt. It's like a brush, thank goodness, but the tyke is frightened and begins to whine. This prompts Mother Elaine to whack the kid on the side of his head. In doing so, spots of food crumbs fall to his collar. Mon Dieu, look at you. You've made a mess of yourself. A mess. Xavier breaks into sobs. Elaine gives him a second whack, chiding, Mon petit homme, sit up, eat right. This is not Italy. This prompts finger pointing from the others. Setting the tone once again, Mimi bellows, voila, let's eat. Hot soup, orange. I take the steam through my nostrils. I grab for a spoon. Mimi and father-in-law eyeing every maneuver. It's a big spoon, easy enough. I dip the spoon into the soup and lift it to my lips, halting momentarily to wink at Irene, seated across the table from me. The split-second hesitation unsteadies my hold on the spoon. Orange splops dead center on my shirt, on my lap. Damn it all! Irene laughs, covers her mouth. Mimi, father-in-law, the others all shoot eye darts on me, followed by disapproving nods to each other. Fuck the shirt, it's navy blue, but the pants, my goddamn whites. Damn, panic, quick, do something. Oh shit, I bark and lunge for a linen napkin, toppling a glass of water into a basket of bread. Forgetting the spoon in my left hand, this unsettles the remaining soup. Splash on the tablecloth. Splash, splash on the butter, on my left thigh. Spoon thuds on the table. Droplets ricochet. Double bullseye. Direct hits to Mimi's contact lenses. Puta merde, she screams, rushing both hands to her eyes. Her bovine elbow squared to the jaw of husband Pascal. Whack! Man, 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 shouts he, harpooning, if looks could kill, my way, before turning to Irene, laughing as tears run down her cheeks and blowing her nose like a foghorn. Determined to rescue my dress whites, I busily dab at the splots. It's not easy to concentrate on the task at hand, what with the howling chorus of dégueulasse, dégoûtant, paré, ooh la la. It's not so much the rounds of rancor spewed against me, but the cadence. It's no rhythm. We echoed the same cadence, but differently back home in our anti-war marches. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your dirty war, let alone my dirty shirt. Another round of cigarettes before the next course. Beef bourguignon, potatoes and green beans. And up from the wine cellar, Bordeaux, vintage, 1984. An array of gadgets was laid before me. A large plate, white, trimmed in gold leaf. On it, another linen napkin, burgundy colored, ironed and starched. To the right, 2 forks of different sizes, face down. To the left, 2 knives of 2 sizes, both reflecting like a mirror. Above the plate, 1 fork and 1 knife. Above these, 4 glasses. There to hold water, red wine, white wine, and champagne. I haven't a fucking clue about the knives, the forks, which cheeses, green salad, dessert, and coffee will come later. I am confused. Sigh of relief, seeing that the soup bowl and the big spoon have disappeared. Yet I, due to all the commotion that has just passed, am now ready to eat and eat rigorously. No, baby, says Irene. Not that one. It's the flute. Flute? Looks like a glass of wine. Looks like a glass to me. I've just poured mineral water into a champagne vessel. but I'm first on the draw with a hearty ooh la la, forcing Mimi to swallow a phenome in mid-speak. The rules of this ritual amount to a sophisticated version of pin the tail on the donkey, and I've emerged the ass. Enough. I resurvey all the gadgets and decide on a new track. Sitting before me is an instrument panel. I am a novice. Irene, the instructor. Stealth. Under cover of clearing my throat, I mutter, help me out, help me out, ever but ever discreetly. I tilt my left thumb at the beef and then suddenly flex my lower lip to the right, indicating a fork pickup. Very suddenly, I tap my right pinky at the base of one fork. Irene, chin resting on one hand, does a 1.5 lateral nod. No, a no can lose operation. I know to snatch up the other fork. Anticipating the hawk eye of Mimi, I do a knife search for a new twist. I flex my lip upward, but arch my right eyebrow as a decoy while laying a finger each on the knives. Lifting a finger about the outside knife, I then raise the left eyebrow before lowering my finger back upon it. Iran lifts both eyebrows with a little smile. Bingo! Dinner. It's a breeze. Relaxed we are, biting and chewing and tearing and grinding, sipping, lip sucking, all in gluttonous abandon, small talk, gushing like gravy. Brother-in-law asks about the American war in Vietnam. Did I participate myself or personally know many boys who did? I tell him it wasn't my war, inquiring if in French Indochina, in Dien Bien Phu, is that warm in your memory, my brother-in-law? The topic takes a sudden departure. Father-in-law father-in-law queries about American public opinion of the Gulf War. I tell him I believe that most folks follow what politicians tell them, and that our media has largely abdicated its stated mission of interrogation, investigation, revelation, in favor of ideological duplicity with the Democrat Republican Party. He thinks there's a difference. Oh, let's drop it. Decor. Father-in-law is miffed, thinking I've shortchanged him with my reply. So I ask him, tell me, tell me what? Tell me how much firepower is presently trained in the region, and how much French firepower is presently trained in the same region. And he mumbles, Mon question, where's dessert? Daniel's a surrealist. Somebody asks, why have you left America to live in France? Don't move that muscle. Brain orders tongue. A neurogram flashes into the hemisphere. I am posed with two questions. Just why did I leave my country? Why have I chosen to be here? Two paramounts shape my pointed little head. It dawns on me. No, crashes through the gates. I have not established Cartesian coordinates. Both feet planted on a parallax. We share a law in the action. Tension hangs about. Suddenly, whack to Xavier's head. Use your napkin, commands Elan. It takes a whack to loosen the static. So existential. Well, you're both frozen, so I can't see or hear anything.
We're clapping.
Okay. So that's, oh, now that you're talking, your face moves again. Okay.
That happens, you know.
What a
Okay.
story, Mo. That's fabulous. So
Yeah.
so is
My,
is being French all it's cracked up to be, or you
well,
still,
it's cracked up.
Well,
have you come to
when
an
I
answer to the question yet?
Right.
when I came to France, I married into a working class family of immigrants. So there was none of that. They were like normal people.
Cool. My my in-laws were petit bourgeois who wanted to emanate higher class society, and
Emulate,
that's
not
how, and that's how that works. And of course, they resented me for, like they said, tried to be French. And after being there for 30 days, I said, why the fuck do I want to be French? You know, I don't want to be a typical American. And the last thing I want to be also is a typical French. Leave me the fuck alone, which they refused to do, and which resulted greatly in the reason why I'm happily divorced today. So that was my reaction.
You know, the family I married into, they asked me questions about America. They were interested in my opinion, and America. I was kind of a star,
Good.
being
Well,
American.
I was the opposite. I was what is it, undesirable to my in-laws because they were hoping I would be a businessman or a banker.
Mm.
And when Irene, my wife, told them, no, he's a poet and a gauchiste, a leftist, they went, holy shit, how did you do this? Because she was also an artist and a leftist. So they looked at us both as black sheep. It was funny. I just learned basically that uh, the French come from an empire and therefore suffered the same ignorance and arrogance that so many people from empire countries suffer from. No real knowledge of the people they subject, and exploit. And this unfound arrogance that their language, their culture, their total way of being is somehow superior, rather than you could say admirable, likable, distinguished. No, the French, very much like the Americans, we're not only different, we're the best. And so between the two, they actually mimic one another and behave very similar. We're the best. No, we're the best. No, we're the best. No, we're the best. No, you were more wrong in that war. No, you were wrong in that war. No,
And
your
the,
racism is more racist than ours. No, it's not. So it's a whole lot like this.
My brother-in-law had a girlfriend from Brittany, and
Yeah.
yeah, and at her mother's house, at her parents' house, her mother said, because he's half Greek, half Tunisian, said, "Oh, I always hoped that my daughter would be together with a real Frenchman."
Yeah.
So he started talking about the history of France,
Yeah.
and he reads a lot. He knows a lot of stuff, and his discourse led her to react with "Quoi, moi, pas française? What, me, not French? Get out!"
Yeah. As a Breton, she's Celtic. She's part of the greater Celtic. She's a cousin to the Irish.
Yeah,
Usually they celebrate that. They're more tolerant and mellow than the average French, actually.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, it was not an educated family.
Okay. Now, there's one thing that the French suffer from, and that's what's called, I think I can pronounce this right, glottophobia. And what that means, glottophobia, anybody that doesn't speak with a Parisian accent is condescended upon. Okay. And there are so many colorful accents in France. But here in Paris, Parisians, whether they're born here or whether they migrated here, particularly after World War II, si tu ne parles pas dans un accent parisien, vous êtes inférieur. And so they make fun of people who don't speak a Parisian accent.
Parigot tête de veau.
Right. And that really pisses me off. They say to me, vous parlez avec un accent, monsieur. You speak with an accent. And I turn around and say, glottophobie. Oh no, oh no. And and I'll say something like, have you ever been to New York? Bah oui. Do you like New York? Bah ouais. How do you speak English in New York? Well, I said, what's that accent I hear? What is that accent? And most of them still don't get it.
You speak with a Parisian accent in Quebec, and they go, "À la bon accent."
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway, there's a lot to be said in common between people from empires, Britain, France, the US. somewhat from,
They can't speak other languages.
and they assume that, like the French say, we were less severe on Africans than the English or the Dutch or the others. Why? Because we taught them how to speak French. Are you ready for that?
Well, I had a friend who worked all over Africa, and he did say that life is easier in French-speaking Africa than in English-speaking Africa,
And
because it's not as hard. There's a softness that they have, except for Belgian-speaking Africa.
of course, except for that other francophone. Well, I
Right.
would seriously contest that, having been a little bit to Africa and listening to people, particularly immigrants who come from there. I think there's a pretense that if one is African and speaks French, that he or she may feel a little better about himself because he or she does speak French. I'll give you that. Then they get here and they're rejected by the French. So the air goes out of that balloon. Anyway, it's a wonderful world that we've described tonight. And it's time to go. And I want to thank everybody,
Yeah.
including Adoma, who said he had to go off to dinner, and JP Yukon, who gave us that wonderful video. So Dave, when we receive your recording, I'm also gonna post beginning tonight her video.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a
and
crazy, disjointed night, but we muddled through and
yeah, well,
we did all right.
if we had all silky smooth nights,
Yeah.
we, who would we be if everything went silky smooth?
No. We'd be
Yeah.
Zoom masters.
Would be Zoomers or would be pretentious like the Yale Literary Society or the
Yeah, we
Didn't
Oxford.
don't want
I read a line about that tonight?
to.
That's it. We'll let Bill answer that. He's
Well,
got
thank
more
you.
elocution.
Hey, thank you
Okay.
guys. Always, it's a great pleasure for me. I really
Okay.
enjoy these times.
All right.
It
And
always
let us know when your interview comes out with UAL.
I will. That'll be fun.
Okay.
I'm really excited about that. That's a lot of fun.
All right.
See you,
All
men,
right.
later.
Bye for now, everybody.